Good morning, students. Welcome back to our economics class. Okay, so here, as we have discussed with the important questions from our sixth chapter, that is industrial sector, where we have studied with 1991 industrial policy resolution, role and problems of small scale industries, and again measures for small scale industry. So till sixth chapter, if you are thorough, your LAQs questions are completed, because you will get LAQs from first chapter, then third chapter, fifth and sixth chapter, you will get your LAQs. Okay, so if you are thorough with the topics what we have discussed in the class, your LAQs, especially the first section of your exam, that is your LAQs from your paper, are completed mostly from first 6 chapters. So the next chapters what we are going to study, these all have SAQs and VSAQs. Okay, more weightage is there for 7, 8, 9 and 10 chapter for your SAQs. So today I'm going to start with the new chapter, that is your tertiary sector. As we have done with agriculture and industrial sector, today we are going to start with tertiary sector. In tertiary sector, only 2 SAQs I will discuss, then we will discuss with all the VSAQs, so that this chapter will be completed. Only 2 SAQs are there. So in that, the first question we are going to discuss is, what are the renewable sources of energy? Okay, so your question is, what are renewable sources of energy? This is your question. Okay, this is for your 5 marks question. Renewable sources of energy. Generally, whenever we study about energy, energy is one of the important building blocks in human development, and it is a key factor in our economic development. For every country, you see, for every country's economic development, energy is required. Energy is available in many forms, which is used in production process or distribution process or in consumption process. So, hence, in the generally when we say that energy is required, for example, a vehicle has to move, it requires motor, energy is required, right? Then when we do these electric motor, it requires supply electric motor which we use to supply of water. There also energy is required. So overall we can say that economic growth depends on availability and use of energy. So the higher the per capita income, the higher the energy. So energy sources are all forms of fuels used in the modern world, either for heating or the generation of electrical energy or other forms of energy conservation process. So we can say here, what is energy? Energy is the all forms of fuels used for heating, generation of electrical energy or other form of energy conversion process. That is called as energy. Now coming to renewable energy sources, that is produced from natural process and continuous process. So we can say renewable energy, it is an energy that is produced from natural process, that is produced from natural process and it is continuous. Okay, it is an energy that is produced from the natural processes, as well as it is continuously regenerating. Continuously regenerating means it will never be completed. We will get it again and again we get it from the nature. When we generate the energy, Why we generate energy? This energy is generated for heating purpose, okay, or this energy is generated for to produce electrical energy, so anyway we use the energy. So the energy that is produced from natural processes and continuously regenerating themselves, such energy is called as renewable sources of energy. And the use of these renewable sources of energy is results in less pollution and have a economic benefits and energy security. So here we can say it is having an advantage of less pollution, economic benefit, and energy security. Security means what? In future also it will not be over, right? We can continuously, because the natural resources, as we generate the energy from the natural resources. For example, electricity is generated from water. We call it as thermal energy. This one, water is regenerating itself. Water will never be over. So that continuous generation is called as renewable sources of energy. Now, what are these renewable sources of energy? First, we have solar energy. Solar energy means what? The radiant light and heat energy from the sun with the use of solar collectors. So, solar energy is light and heat energy from sun with solar connectors. It is called as solar energy. This collected solar energy is used in providing light, heat, and different forms of electricity. Okay, so it is the light and heat energy which we generate from the sun by using solar connectors, and it is used for light, heat, and different forms of electricity. This is called as solar energy. Another type of renewable energy is wind energy. Wind energy is by this wind through windmills and all we get the wind. So with that, the energy we get from the winds, and windmills have been used for hundreds of years to pump out water from the ground. We use large tall wind turbines that allow winds to generate electricity. So wind energy, we use winds and windmills, which are large towers which pump water from the surface of the ground, and here they generate electricity. The natural airflow on the surface of the earth is used to run wind turbines, and the most preferred location of wind turbines are which have strong winds, okay, which are in high altitudes, like on mountains and all. We can find these windmills where wind vines are there. There windmills will be located, wind turbines will be there where they generate the energy that is used to provide electricity and all. Next we have hydroelectricity. Hydroelectricity, the energy is another alternative source of energy that is generated by construction of dams and reservoirs on the flowing water. So hydroelectricity means what? Energy is generated through construction of dams and reservoirs on flowing water. When the dams and reservoirs are constructed on the flowing water, with the force of the water, electricity is generated. Okay, so the kinetic energy from the flowing water is used to run the turbines which generate electricity. So, a tidal power which converts the energy of tides and wave power which captures the energy from the surface of ocean waves for power generation are two forms of hydropower, and it have huge potential in electric power generation. So here both tidal power and wave power are used. We can say in hydropower, both tides from the water and waves are used to generate the energy. It is having the high potential to generate the electric energy. Okay. The next one we have geothermal energy. Geothermal energy means it is generated from the thermal energy which is stored in the earth. The heat is captured on the sources of hot springs and volcanoes, and heat is directly used by industries for heating the water and other purposes. So here the thermal, it is generated from thermal energy stored in the earth. Thermal energy stored in the earth surface, like we can say volcanoes, where more heat will be there. From that heat, energy will be generated. So this is called as geothermal energy. The next one we have, that is bioenergy. Bioenergy, this is derived from biomass, which is a type of biological material derived from living organisms, which is energy is generated from biomass. It is a biological material from living organisms. Biomass is a biological material which is derived from living organisms. Biomass can be directly used via combustion to produce heat, and indirectly it can be used to convert to biofuels. Okay, so this is bioenergy. We can say here the energy. What are the renewable sources of energy? It is an energy that is produced from natural processes and it is continuously regenerating. Because it is from the nature, it is from the natural sources, the energy is generated for heating purpose, to produce electrical energy, and other forms of energy is produced. And these renewable sources of energy are creating less pollution in the country. It is having economic benefits, and also energy security is there. Energy security means what? That energy is not only used for present consumption, but also for future consumption. How we can say energy security? Because the energy generation is continuous, renewable. They are regenerating again and again. That's why energy security will be there. And what are the sources of renewable energy? Solar energy. From sun, through solar connectors, we generate light and heat. Wind energy. Through windmills, large wind turbines are set up, which will pump out the water from the earth's surface, and they are located on the high altitudes. Okay, through windmills, energy is generated. Next is hydroelectricity. Hydroelectricity is generated, the energy is generated through construction of dams and reservoirs on the flowing water. When the water is flowing, tides will be formed. So with that force of tides and high waves, energy is generated. It is the most commonly used in our country, hydroelectricity, where we use tidal energy and wave energy. Okay, next is the geothermal energy. Geothermal energy, the energy which is stored under the earth's surface where the heat is generated. So, thermal energy which is stored in the earth's surface, like through volcanoes, that regions we can find this geothermal energy. That heat is directly used by the industry. Okay. Next we have bioenergy. It is the energy is generated through biomass, where it is biological material which is derived from living organisms. So they use this biomass as a combustion and they use it to produce the energy. Okay, so these are the renewable sources of energy. This is your 5 marks question from this tertiary sector. Okay, after this renewable sources of energy, you have another 5 marks question, that is objectives of LIC. So in this chapter, you prepare only these 5 marks questions, which is enough for exam point of view. Okay, objectives of LIC. What are the objectives of LIC? Generally, LIC means, as we all know, it is a life insurance corporation. This was set up to provide insurance facilities to the customers. Why we take insurance? We require financial security, because any risk or danger on anything is there for the life, that will be secured through our life insurance. It is a financial support which is given for the risk. So here we can say LIC in 1956, LIC was nationalized and Life Insurance Corporation of India came into existence. So here we can say that the mission LIC is to explore and enhance the quality of life. So in this, first you will write down your introduction. Life Insurance Corporation. Life Insurance Corporation was nationalized in 1956. It was nationalized in the year 1956, and the mission is to LIC, the mission is to explore and enhance the quality of life, explore and enhance the quality of life of people through financial security of people, through financial security. So what is its mission? LIC mission is to explore and enhance the quality of life of people through financial security. And the products and services which are given by the LIC, we call them as insurance policy. They provide competitive returns to the policy holders. So we can say the LIC products and services which are provided. Product and services provides competitive returns to the policy holders. That means Here, whoever the policy holder is there, they will get the returns from the services. They will get the returns from the LIC policies. You may have different types of policies here, like pension plans, health insurance, group insurance, children growth fund, endowment policies, money back policies are different types of products and services which will provide competitive returns to the policy holders. So the various policies or various products and services are, we can say, pension plans, health insurance, pension plan, health insurance, group insurance, children growth fund, group insurance, child growth fund, endowment policies and money back policies. Endowment policies and money back policies. So these are the various products and services provided by LIC where the policy holders will get the competitive returns. So this is the introduction of your LIC. You will write. When you get this question, first write down. Life Insurance Corporation was nationalized in the year 1956. Its mission is to explore and enhance the quality of life of people through financial security. The products and services of LIC provides competitive returns to the policy holders. What are the products and services? Like pension plans, health insurance, group insurance, child growth fund, endowment policies, and money back policies provides competitive returns to the policy holders. Now let us discuss what are the objectives of this. Okay, so now we'll discuss what are the objectives of this LIC. Right? Objectives, what they want to achieve with this insurance. So here, to spread life insurance to the rural areas and socially, economically backward sections of the population. First objective, to provide insurance in rural areas and backward areas. Their objective is to spread across the rural areas and the backward areas to cover the risk of life. To cover risk of life. Okay, to provide insurance in rural areas and backward areas to cover the risk of life of the people in these backward regions. Because in backward regions, as people income levels are low, their savings also will be low. When their savings are low, they are unable to bear the risk of life. So to cover that risk, insurance is there. So that is one objective of Life Insurance Corporation. And to maximize savings by making insurance linked savings. Whoever the policy holders are there, for them to maximize savings, the savings by making insurance linked scheme. Most of the people does not show interest to save their money, right? If they save also, they do the fixed deposits and all. Whenever their life is at risk, that money cannot be used. So this LIC objective is that whenever you're saving, that saving should be, if that is linked to your insurance, whatever the amount we are saving, that will be securing, that will be like a financial security when we have risk of our life. So to increase the savings of the consumers and to provide security to policy holders, to provide security to policy holders with high returns. So on all the insurance policies, we have good returns over here, right? So with the higher returns, the policy holders' money is secured. When the LIC is taking money from the public in the form of insurance premium, they will invest in other industries or other services where they can get the good returns, so that they can give the good returns to their policy holders. Okay. Next objective of LIC is to invest policy holders' money. To invest policy holders' money. To invest policy holders' money in view of advantage. In view of advantage to investors and community. Means whatever the money is gathered by the LIC, everyone will have a doubt what they will do with that money. They will invest that for the development of the economy. So to invest policy holders' money, whatever money we are paying as a premium, that money will be useful for investment purpose in the country. Now in the country, for capital formation, we require investors. So these LIC will use the policy holders' money as investments, and it will be helpful for the development of our economy. So that is one objective here. And to maintain economy in operation and full realization of investors' money. To maintain economy in operation and full realization of investors' money. So this is how we have the objectives of LIC. So as you see the objectives of LIC, why this LIC was set up in the country here? LIC was set up in before 1950s only LIC was there, life insurance was there, and it was nationalized in 1956. What are the basic objectives of LIC? To provide insurance in rural areas and backward areas to cover the risk of life. So the main objective is to cover the risk of life of the people, those who are living in the rural and the backward areas. And to maximize savings by making insurance linked scheme. Means to increase the habit of savings among the people, that will be linked to the insurance linked scheme. So whatever the money the people are saving in insurance, in LIC, that is useful to cover the risk what they face in their life, and to provide security to policy holder with high returns. With high returns, the security is provided to the policy holders. To invest policy holders' money in view of advantage to investments and community, and to maintain economy in full operation. To maintain economy in operation and full realization of investors' money. So these are the objectives of LIC, which is again an important 5 marks question from exam point of view. So hope you understood these two 5 marks questions from this chapter, renewable sources of energy and objectives of LIC. Okay, now let us do with our VSAQs of this chapter so that this chapter will be completed. So the VSAQs, 2 VSAQs you will get and 1 SAQ you will get here. Okay, so VSAQs of this first one is infrastructure. Only the important VSAQs I'm explaining here. So here infrastructure means what? The facilities which help for direct production activities are called infrastructure. So here we can say infrastructure means what? The facilities which help for direct production product activities is called as infrastructure, such as transport, communication, banking, etc. So these are called as the infrastructure, the facilities which are provided to produce any activity. To do any activity, we require certain facilities. Such facilities are called as infrastructure. Okay, so this infrastructure is divided into economic infrastructure and social infrastructure. They are divided into economic infrastructure and social infrastructure. So what are economic infrastructure? Economic infrastructure like electricity, water, like we can say this, transport, then communication. These all comes under economic infrastructure. Social infrastructure means health, education. These come under our social infrastructure. So for growth purpose, investment is in infrastructure is very, very essential. So for 2 marks, you write down this much. What is infrastructure? The facilities which help for the direct product activities such as transport, communication, banking, warehousing, all will come under that. And they are divided into economic infrastructure and social infrastructure. Economic infrastructure, which is helpful for economic development, right? The facilities which whatever the production activities we do, which are helpful for economic growth, those are called economic infrastructure. Social, which are for the development of the society. Okay, then second VSAQ from this chapter will be transport. Water transport. Water transport, it connects canals, lakes, rivers and backwaters within the country. It is the cheapest and least polluting mode of transport. So we can say water transport, it connects lakes, canals and rivers within the country, and it is the cheapest and less polluting mode of transport. Less polluting mode of transport. And also here we can say that and throughout the world, the shipping connects major ports of the country and the world. Okay, so this much point you write down about this water transport. What is water transport? It is connecting through lakes, canals, rivers and all, which connects within the country as well as throughout the world. The shipping across the oceans or shipping across the rivers, which will connect throughout the world, and it is the cheapest mode of transport and it is less polluting mode of transport. that is water transport. Next, sources of energy. Generally, just now we have discussed sources of energy. There are two sources of energy, that is renewable source of energy and non-renewable source of energy. Renewable means which is continuously regenerating, right? Non-renewable means which will exhaust after usage continuously, means which cannot be regenerated again. So what are the renewable sources we have? Solar energy, hydro energy, thermal energy. Just now we have discussed. Now what are the non-renewable sources of energy here? The non-renewable sources of energy are coal, crude oil, right? Natural gas. Non-renewable sources are coal, crude oil and natural gas, or we can say fossil fuels, which cannot be regenerated again, which are available in the earth's surface but which cannot be regenerated. Once we use them, as we continuously use them, it will get exhausted. It cannot be regenerated. So what are the sources of energy? Renewable source of energy and non-renewable source of energy. Renewable, which has the power to regenerate again and again, such as solar energy, hydro energy and thermal energy. Non-renewable, as the continuous usage, the energy will get exhausted, it will get over. The sources of non-renewable energy are coal, crude oil, natural gas and nuclear fuels. Okay, right. Next question, fossil fuels. These fossil fuels are the formed by remains of animals and plants. Fossil fuels are formed by remains of animals and plants. So these fossil fuels are divided into the three types of fossil fuel are coal, crude oil and natural gas, which we get it from the earth surface. So generally, see, what are fossil fuels? Fossil fuels are formed by remains of animals and plants. They are under the surface of the earth, which are remained for years together. They convert into a form of energy, and with that remains of these plants and animals, coal, crude oil and natural gas is generated. So these fossil fuels are divided into three categories, so that are called as fossil fuels. Next important question, 2 marks, that is BharatNet program. BharatNet, it is in telecom sector, where the BharatNet program was introduced in the country for achieving the goal of developing broadband highways. So BharatNet was introduced for developing broadband highways in the country and as a part of Digital India campaign. So developing broadband highways as a part of Digital India program, where the government is implementing the BharatNet program in a phased manner for providing broadband connectivity. Means here we can say, as a part of Digital India program, government is providing the broadband connectivity to all the places throughout the country. Now we all have broadband facilities, like that is our internet connectivity and all. Whereas in rural areas, it is connecting this under the Digital India program throughout India, including developed regions and backward regions and rural areas, villages, small towns and all. should be having the broadband connectivity. With that goal, this BharatNet program was introduced. So they are providing broadband connectivity under this BharatNet program. Broadband connectivity is provided to 2.5 lakh gram panchayats. So in all the villages, this 2.5 lakh of gram panchayats are covered with broadband connectivity. So this is called as BharatNet program. So what is BharatNet program? Developing the broadband highways as a part of Digital India. And under this BharatNet program, broadband connectivity is provided to 2.5 lakh gram panchayats. So this program is called as BharatNet program. Next we have IRDA. What is this IRDA? Insurance Regulatory Development Authority. So IRDA is Insurance Regulatory Authority of India, Development Authority. This IRDA Act was passed in 1999. The act was passed in 1999 as an autonomous body. It got the statutory status and it has the duty to regulate, promote and ensure orderly growth of insurance and reassurance business. So IRDA has the duty to regulate, promote and ensure the growth of insurance and reassurance business. Insurance and reassurance business. So what is IRDA? IRDA, Insurance Regulatory Development Authority, or we can say Insurance Regulatory Development Authority of India. The act was passed in 1999 as an autonomous body and it has the duty to regulate, promote and ensure the growth of insurance and reassurance business. Means IRDA provides the regulations for all the insurance business in the country. Okay, for insurance and reassurance. And the final question of this chapter, VSAQ, that is your GIC. General Insurance Corporation. General Insurance Corporation. Like LIC provides insurance for living beings, that is for life of the people, whereas GIC provides insurance for non-living, that is for the businesses. For businesses during transportation or during the warehousing, they may have the danger like fire accidents or theft or something will be there. For that, the risk will be covered by General Insurance Corporation. So we can see here, General Insurance covers fire, flood, marine, air travel, foreign travel, road transportation. It also covers theft of household and firms. Their activities are spread throughout the world and GIC companies are called as non-life insurance companies. So we can say GIC are also called as non-life insurance companies and they provide insurance for this GIC covers insurance for fire, flood, road transport, marine, theft in household and firms, these all are covered under general insurance. Life insurance is given for life, whereas GIC is given for non-life insurance. So non-life insurance companies will be covering insurance for fire, floods, road transport, marine, theft in households and firms. So this is about the insurance sector. So these are the VSAQs from this chapter. Just go through once the VSAQs here. 2 SAQs and remaining VSAQs. Only 1 SAQ you will get from this chapter. Along with that, you will get the 2 VSAQs. Just go through these VSAQs. So here in your questions, whatever the important questions I'm explaining here, those all are important from exam point of view. Only the repeated questions which are very, very, very important only I'm explaining in every day's class. Okay. So in this chapter, you should prepare with these 2 questions for 5 marks. That is, what are renewable sources of energy and what are the objectives of LIC. So when this question comes, renewable sources of energy, you will give the introduction and you will explain all these renewable sources. Just 2 or 3 lines you explain about them. That is enough for your 5 marks. Whatever questions I explain in the class, those are the important questions. So hope you understood these renewable sources of energy. Next, you have objectives of LIC. Give the introduction for LIC. What is an LIC? And what are the objectives of LIC? So objectives of LIC, you should write the introduction and what are these objectives? 5 marks question. Next, your VSAQs, any 2 VSAQs you will get from exam point of view, right? Infrastructure, water transport, sources of energy, fossil fuel. Next, you have BharatNet, Insurance Regulatory Development Authority, General Insurance Corporation. So from this chapter, these questions you prepare, that is enough. Other questions are there, but that is not required for the supplementary exams. Only this many you prepare, that is enough. So in next class, we'll start with our next chapter, that is foreign trade. So this is all from this chapter, treasury sector. Thank you.